Rimworld is a game all about surviving against the odds. Usually that involves building an impenetrable base. Other times it could mean becoming a master of psychic powers. And occasionally, just occasionally, it may involve a little bit of organ harvesting. But regardless of how you choose to play, Rimworld is a game that pretty much lets you do whatever you want. But what if I wanted to become, say, a master of hounds? What if I wanted to harness the primal power of dogs to crush my enemies? We'll say no more because that's exactly what's happening in this playthrough, where I'm gonna find out how many dogs it takes to beat Rimworld. Now there are two rules for this playthrough. First, I can't purposely get rid of any dogs. So no slaughtering dogs, no selling dogs, and no sterilizing dogs. My dog population will be allowed to bloom freely. That might just cause a massive famine, but that's the rule. The second rule is, for every colonist, I must have at least 3 dogs. This basically acts as a cap on how many colonists I can have. So if I have 9 dogs, I can have 3 colonists. And if I have 12 dogs, I can have up to 4 colonists. But there are only 3 types of dogs in Rimworld. There's the Yorkshire Terrier, the Husky, and the Labrador Retriever. I'm gonna go ahead and start with 3 of each. Now if we're gonna raise an army of dogs, we're gonna need the best dog trainer there is. We're gonna need Caesar Millie, the Canine Murmurer. With his animal expertise, he can tame any dog. And without further ado, let's get into it. We crash land onto the planet. Wow, it must have been really crowded in those pods. Okay, I meant to start with 9 dogs, but I actually have 10. What I think happened is I forgot to remove the random pet we get by default, so I ended up with extra terrier. If anything though, this is bad for us. Not that I have anything against Yorkshire Terriers, but we already have way too many mouths to feed. With 10 dogs and 3 colonists, our starting food is not going to last us long, so I need to get to farming right away. Luckily for us, there is this huge swath of fertile soil right here. So I immediately lay down some growing zones, and I also find some ruins nearby, which are the perfect place to start building shelter. Already the foundations of the colony are looking pretty solid. Soon enough, we'll have ourselves an unstoppable army of dogs. Okay, one issue, everybody's construction skill sucks. Caesar is the best at it, and he only has 3. So getting some shelter up is gonna take a bit longer than I was hoping. Also, the ideal religion I picked really sucks. I picked the nature's primacy meme, but I didn't really take a good look at it. And man, there are just so many restrictions. Mining is frowned upon. Cutting down trees is frowned upon. Hunting animals is frowned upon. The basic things I need to survive are frowned upon. Seems the dogs are already getting busy. I probably should get started on training them to attack. If we're gonna survive, we're gonna need dogs that can fight. I'm gonna go ahead and name one of the dogs Scratch. And another one is going to be Sparky. Wow. Sparky and Scratch are immediately getting it on. Pregnant already. This place is gonna be overrun with puppies in no time. Alright, the training has started. Soon enough, Caesar's lessons are gonna turn this terrier into a warrior. Okay, Caesar didn't finish the house in time, so we're gonna have to end our first day sleeping in the rain. Well, the farm is looking good. Hopefully we'll be able to grow enough food to survive the winter. Crap. Well, that's our first death. Wild animal attacks are definitely gonna be a problem. Just something I have to look out for, I guess. Okay, time to give ourselves a name. Our faction will be known as the Pack, and our settlement will be called Dogtown. Not the most creative name, but it is very fitting. Holy crap, a bunch of human skulls just fell from the sky. That can't be a good sign. I mean, that's the clearest omen from God I've ever seen. It took me a little bit longer than I was hoping, but we have a house, we have a stove, and we have a butcher's table. A pretty good start if you ask me. However, the game is warning me that winter is coming. And to be honest, I am extremely concerned we won't have enough food to survive it. We already have a lot of dogs to feed, and by winter we'll probably have even more. We honestly might just starve to death. Here comes our first raid. Perfect opportunity to put our dogs to the test. Caesar took a hit, but the dogs close in swiftly and take the raider down. Okay, so our enemy was a genie, so they're delicate and a wimp. So not the most formidable enemy, but still a win for the dogs. I have Caesar capture her. Hopefully we'll be able to make her a part of the pack. If she survives this infection, of course. A wolf attack. Alright, this time we're not letting them get away with it. You mess with one dog, you mess with the entire pack. Got him. Sparky is critically injured, but it looks like she's gonna be okay. Okay, this is where I made a little bit of a blunder. Although I downed the wolf, I didn't fully kill it. So I got back up and took out its revenge on poor Jamaica. No! And what made this even worse was that I was now down to 8 dogs, which meant by my own rules I could no longer support 3 colonists. Somebody had to go. I decided Bait would be the one to leave. That's what you get for being lazy. We're now down to 2 colonists. And it's not even winter yet and we're running out of food. This was, well, pretty disastrous. At the very least, I was able to buy some pemmican, and the harvest was coming in. Our prisoner died, which was too bad. I really wanted to recruit her. Okay, a bit of a rough start, but that's not gonna stop Caesar. He has dogs to train. I wonder what he murmurs to them. Okay, we have a bunch of new puppies, like way too many. We just got 7 more dogs to take care of. And the dogs are already pregnant again. We're totally gonna starve, aren't we? Here comes raid number 2. Okay, this guy lasted way longer than the previous raider. Not that that mattered that much because the dogs just completely overwhelmed him. We're actually getting a decent amount of food from the farm. We might not starve after all. Ooh, they're in love. Makes a lot of sense. They're the only 2 people here, might as well hook up. Let's celebrate this with a Sky Lantern Festival. Ooh, a new colonist. BB. She's good at planting, that's useful. Welcome to the colony, BB. I hope you like dogs. So I get this forced weather event quest. Basically, they'll make it foggy for 17 days, and in exchange, I get a reward. And one of the options is a nerve spiker, which is basically like a tranquilizer gun. And the idea of Caesar having a tranquilizer gun is really funny to me, so I'm gonna accept the quest. A dog is being attacked. Go tranquilizers! Okay, that wasn't very impressive. A 25-year-old tournament fighter is being hunted by boom rats. Sure, we'll save you. He's strong and smart. Here they come. Now boom rats have a reputation for being, well, explosive. So the dogs might get dinged up a little bit, but they're fine. They're totally fine. This isn't abuse. The boom rats did leave behind quite a bit of fire. Hopefully the fire won't get too out of hand. Okay, I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about this fire. Caesar is on the job, he'll beat it out, right? Oh no, this is the worst time for this. Okay, we're gonna deal with the raiders, then we'll deal with the fires. Holy crap, the fire is like right there. Hurry up and die, we have bigger problems. Alright, the fires to the north are out. But there's still a lot coming in from the east. But it's nighttime now and everybody wants to go to bed. Well, the fire has reached the crops. There goes all of our hard work. Meanwhile, everybody is still sleeping. Oh no, there is way too much fire. It's burning faster than we could beat it. Sail! You can't just give up, you're the whole reason we're in this mess. This isn't working. Oh, what now? Okay, we can't beat the fires, but we might be able to beat the plants. I need to cut down all the plants around the house so the fire doesn't spread. BB is on the job. The fire is right there, go a little faster, BB. But in this case, we can really use some extra help fighting the fires. Especially because Caesar just lost his mind. So screw the Empire, we're saving her. The good news is our new colonist is good at construction, which we really needed. The bad news is she can't fight fires. Why? The house is on fire. The house is on fire. We cannot let the stockpile burn. If it burns, the game is over. We will starve. We're being attacked. There's so much happening right now. Sail's gonna have to deal with it. I'm assigning the dogs to him. Okay, he's down. The house fire has been contained. I'm not really sure how, but somehow we managed to save the house. The threat of the fire has passed. We did it. We survived. Well, most of us. Oh, look at the world. It is covered in ash. This is a hellscape. I've never had a fire so big. Usually, when there's too much fire on the map, it automatically rains. But I think I know why it didn't. It's all because I took that forced weather event, which forced the weather to be foggy for 17 days. So it literally couldn't rain. So it turns out I unwittingly brought this entire disaster upon myself. With the threat of the fire behind us, it was now the dangers of the cold that had me worried. Winter was here. And already, Sail had lost a pinky to frostbite. As for our food supply, it's not looking good. We do have a lot of hay, which can be used to make kibble for the dogs. But if we're gonna survive the winter, we're gonna need to hunt. Luckily, Cade is on the job. She came to the colony equipped with a light machine gun. Not the most graceful way to hunt, but hey, you work with what you got. Other than the sound of a light machine gun mowing down animals, the winter was pretty quiet. Besides hunting, I mostly focused on construction. I repaired the house, I constructed some solar panels, and built a room for my workbenches. Meanwhile, our dog population continued to grow. There were a few troubles, the occasional wild animal attack, and there was a raid where I unfortunately lost a husky. But other than that, the winter was far kinder than I was expecting, and soon enough it was spring again. And what better way to start a new year than with a new marriage? Caesar and Dolores had their wedding. It wasn't the most impressive wedding. I mean, there were dogs running around everywhere during the ceremony, but if I know Caesar, he wouldn't have it any other way. A lone figure is approaching the colony. There's something Javier isn't telling you. So this is an event from the Anomaly DLC, which I haven't played much of, so I don't know what's going on with this guy. But I'm getting bad vibes from him, so I'm not letting him join. I knew I couldn't trust him. Wait a minute, he's sleeping. Somehow he managed to turn on us without even being awake. Well, oughta easier for the dogs. This is what you get for betraying Dogtown. Holy crap, he dropped a charge lance. Give me that. Thank you, Javier. Oh, it's not over yet. Good news, the site stealers are chumps. Our walk-in fridge is done. No more rotting food. From there, I focus on building a terrible structure. Why do they want me to do this? Who knows. But I get some advanced components as a reward. I also get this quest to rescue somebody from some manhunting beavers. So I go ahead and send Caesar out with a few dogs. And it turns out beavers are no match for dogs. And we have ourselves a new recruit. Dogtown is flourishing. However, as I was looking through my dogs, I spotted something troubling. I only had female Yorkshire Terriers. Somehow, all the males had died. This was concerning. The Yorkshire Terrier was in danger of being extinct, at least in Dogtown. I needed to protect them. Eventually, another raid came, and I expected this one to be as simple as all the others. How wrong I was. They came in 3 separate groups, so the obvious strategy was to attack them each one by one before they converged. So I sent Caesar out, with 16 dogs under his command. One of my terriers got a little bit too eager for battle, and I tried to save her by unassigning her from combat, but it was a bit too late for that. So much for protecting our terriers. So the dogs overwhelmed the first group fairly easily, but when it came time to face the second group, it was a bloodbath. The dogs charged in bravely, but the enemies had formed an unbreakable line, and they were formidable melee fighters. I thought my dogs would be able to overwhelm them. I thought my dogs were unbeatable, and so far they have been, but not this time. This time, the dogs got crushed. Every single one under Caesar's command. And before I knew it, they were charging towards Caesar. He was forced to run. He was forced to leave his dogs behind. I scrambled for reinforcements. Cade and Dolores joined the battle with their own dogs, and it was a brutal fight on the doorsteps of Dogtown. But our forces were just enough to defeat them. But I could hardly call this a victory. So many dogs were left at the brink of death, and there wasn't much I could do to save them. The deaths began rolling in, and the casualties were enormous. Holy crap! No, not Sparky! It truly is a dark day in Dogtown. From there, Dogtown gets attacked by a pack of wargs, and although we managed to fend them off, I could really feel the threat level of the game ramping up. And the question was, would my dogs be able to keep up, or would my dog army become obsolete? It was hard to say. On the bright side, we got a new recruit who happened to be Dolores' sister. I finished the geothermal power plant, and I set up some hydroponics, which should allow us to grow food even in the winter. And most importantly, I got some chickens from a trader. I might be able to start a chicken farm. That is if we can survive the winter. We have some food, but it definitely won't be enough to last. We get raided by some fire-breathing imps. I'm still a bit traumatized by fire, but the dogs know no fear. They brush aside the fires and overwhelm the enemies. After the battle, I start getting some ideas about what we can do with these bodies lying around. And they're not exactly wholesome ideas. Look, the dogs need to eat. There's no use letting good meat go to waste. I'm not embracing cannibalism. I'm just gonna use the meat to make kibble for the dogs. Oh man, people are not happy about this. As winter drags on, food is becoming scarce. The hydroponics are not producing nearly enough food to feed everybody. and we had to rely again on hunting. But this time, we have a lot more mouths to feed, and the dread of starvation is more real than ever. We then get attacked by a bunch of foxes. The dogs fend them off easily, but amidst the chaos, BB gets injured. I get lucky with a trade chip and I get the chance to buy a lot of meat. Hopefully this will keep us alive a little bit longer. The bad news is BB has died from an infection. The healthcare system in Dogtown isn't the greatest. We have like no medicine. The least I can do for her is give her a proper burial. Wait a minute, where's her body? Oh no, where's her body? Where did that human meat come from? Oh my god, what have we done? Sale is gonna be so mad, we just butchered his wife. Apparently we can still have a funeral even if her body is gone. Everything's fine, BB would want the dogs to be fed, even if we had to use her to do it. Oh crap, our dreams of a chicken farm are dead. It's spring now, but our troubles are far from over. The dogs are ravenously hungry. Whenever we butcher anything, it's gone immediately. They just snap it all up. Things are really bad. The fridge is just empty. People are too hungry to even wait for the food to be butchered. They're just passing around an entire mega sloth to eat. The famine finally comes to an end as the harvest comes in, and thank God for that, because if it came any later, I'm pretty sure we would be having more bodiless funerals. Oh no, Caesar, you dirty dog. I honestly can't remember where this kid came from. Okay, now we're fighting some mechanoids, and to be honest, I can't really tell what's going on. I have no control over these battles. I just press the attack button and dogs go ham. There's no strategy involved, I just gotta trust the dogs. Okay, another weirdo from the Anomaly DLC wants to join us. This time, I think I'll let her. What the worst she can do? If she tries anything, she'll end up like Javier. Holy crap, she's the best colonist I've ever seen. Oh, there's gotta be some drawback to this. What the hell? Okay, so occasionally she releases psychic waves that knock everybody out. No big deal, nobody's perfect. The refugees are leaving. I kinda wanna capture them and force them to join Dogtown. Oh no, he's resisting. He killed a terrier, you bastard, they're an endangered species. This is the price of my hubris, I guess. Well, Mantis has the flu, and it doesn't look like he's gonna make it. Once again, the healthcare system of Dogtown has failed. At the very least, we'll bury him, unlike a certain other person that we don't talk about anymore. My dog army is unstoppable. This is exactly what I envisioned when I started. Just a giant horde of dogs mowing down my enemies. It's beautiful. Winter is here again, it seems. They're selling chickens. My dreams of a chicken farm are alive again. Okay, we do have some amount of food in the fridge. Hopefully it'll be enough for the winter. I'm crossing my fingers. We also have many more hydroponics. Wait, what the hell? My chickens are dying from frostbite. I literally just got them. Okay, I gotta hurry up and put them inside. I saved a male and a female. There's still hope for a chicken farm. Alright, I built a room around the geothermal generator and put the chickens in there. The generator produces heat, so it should keep them warm. Oh man, we're running out of food already. And it's gone. Oh no, this is bad. This is really bad. We have to hunt. We have to hunt everything. We're running out of animals to hunt. Oh my god. We have too many dogs. We have too many dogs in Dogtown. The single rat is all we have to eat. Okay, I have to try something, so I'm sending out a caravan in hopes that I could trade for food. It's gonna take a while to get there and back. In the meantime, we had to do something to survive, and hard times call for hard decisions. We do actually have a prisoner, and I think it's time to put him to use. Okay, the caravan has arrived. I'm buying all the food we can afford. Now they just need to get back to Dogtown. Caesar is losing his mind. Hang in there, Caesar, food is on the way. The hunting is going well, just not well enough to feed everybody. Oh, they're back! We're saved! We have food. A trader! Oh, I am getting so lucky. It's raining meat. Wow, they are just tearing through it. Oh no. They're dying! The food came just too late. Oh man. The food I bought is already pretty much gone. We just have too many dogs to feed. Oh no, they're eating each other. Soon enough, it was spring again. The new season started out with a raid. They dropped in right on top of Dogtown, catching me totally off guard. Within seconds, there were casualties. But I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't too mad about that. After the terrible winter I just had, I didn't mind losing a few dogs. What I was mad about, however, was the fact that they were wrecking my high-tech research bench and setting my drug lab on fire. For that, they had to die. Life in Dogtown went on. Food was still a big problem as always. But little did I know at the time, there was another threat brewing in Dogtown. One that I could not possibly predict. One that was nearly invisible. A madness was taking hold in Dogtown, and it all started with Caesar. When one day he decided he wanted to murder somebody. I put a stop to it by arresting him. Then I let him sit in prison for a little bit, and I thought that might be the end of it. But soon enough, Caesar was acting out again, and this time it was way worse. This time, he was trying to hurt a dog. I sent Dolores to arrest him, but she was too late. Caesar, the canine murderer himself, had done the unthinkable. He had killed a dog. I could not believe it. He had just committed the worst crime possible in Dogtown. I honestly considered executing Caesar, but to be honest, things in the colony right now were bad, and executing Caesar would probably only make things worse. So Caesar pleaded insanity and I let him free. But this little incident would just be the start of the madness. There was more on the way. For a while, things in Dogtown were looking bleak. We were out of food and the dogs were perishing. But as the harvest came in, we began to stabilize. And by the end of spring, the situation in Dogtown was starting to look up. That was until the zombie invasion, of course. Nobody in Dogtown saw that coming. I rallied the pack. I brought every available dog onto the battlefield. This was a threat unlike anything Dogtown had ever seen. But the dogs did not even hesitate. They charged straight into the zombie horde, with no sense of self-preservation, just the way we taught them. The battle was pure carnage. Dogs and zombies tearing each other to shreds. Amidst the chaos, it was hard to even tell what was happening. Were we winning or the zombies? All I knew is that if we lost, Dogtown would be decimated. As the battle dragged on, it became clear that we had the upper hand. The power of man's best friend prevailed. But victory came at a terrible cost. So many dogs lay mortally wounded on the battlefield, and there was no way we could save them all. The deaths began rolling in, and there were a lot. We lost half, probably even more than half, of our dog population. This was undoubtedly the bloodiest day in Dogtown history. But at the very least, we had survived. As for the dogs, you know what they say, all dogs go to heaven. Or hopefully at least, a place with a little bit less cannibalism. I was hoping for some time to recover, but Rimworld is Rimworld. And just a day later, we were hit by another raid, or rather a siege. I sent Cade out to harass them as they got set up, but in turn, they set Cade on fire. Luckily, they didn't continue after her, and I managed to rescue her, but Cade was now down for the count, so Caesar had to step up. I needed to break this siege, but after the horrific zombie battle, Caesar was left with only 8 dogs under his command. I knew I was sending these dogs to their doom, but there was no other way. The dogs were defeated, but they had done their job. The siege was interrupted, and the enemies were now chasing Caesar. He led them back to Dogtown. We were gonna fight them on our own turf. Even so, it was a rough battle. We only had a handful of dogs available to fight. We still managed to drive the raiders out, but not without a few casualties. These last few attacks on Dogtown have been brutal. Despite so, we still had a good number of dogs. And now, all I wanted was for things to be quiet for a little bit. But I did not get what I wanted. Instead, I got the madness. I don't really understand why it happened. All I knew was that Dogtown was going crazy. There were people digging up corpses. Violence on the streets. This one guy got malaria, on top of having muscle parasites and gut worms already. What the fuck? I have never seen that before. Get out of here, we can't take care of you. There was something strange happening in Dogtown. Mood was at an all-time low, and everybody was just going nuts. Eventually, I accepted some refugees into Dogtown, hoping that they might lower the workload and make things better. But then, they started going crazy too. There was mental break after mental break. Constant alerts. And one of the refugees even tried to hurt the dogs. Straight to jail. and I was beginning to think that maybe Dogtown is just a terrible place to live. I just didn't understand. Last winter, we were literally starving. Things were bleak, and I didn't have nearly this many mental breaks. It honestly felt like Dogtown was just cursed, like there was some kind of mass hysteria at work. Eventually, we face off with some mechanoids, and this was another brutal battle for us. In the blink of an eye, an explosion wiped out my dogs. And we also lost Brexo. Afterwards, I did a count of the dogs, and I realized we only had 23, which meant we would have to drop down to 7 colonists. People would have to leave. And at this point, I was honestly considering giving up here. I was having a rough time. So many dogs had been lost. My colonists were insane, and it felt like I was about to be the next person to have a mental break. But ultimately, I stuck with it, and now I had to make some hard decisions about who was going to leave. Luckily, I did get a volunteer. Dolores decided to leave on her own. I guess after years in Dogtown, she's finally realized that she's not a dog person. It's a bit sad to lose her since she's one of our original colonists, but it is what it is. From there, I pretty much got rid of the people that were the most unhappy. And I went a little bit wild and went down to 6 colonists instead of 7. The colony was now a lot smaller. But you know what? Everything was actually fine. I sort of expected the colony to fall apart after losing so many people, but the opposite happened. The mental breaks stopped. There was peace and quiet. The madness was over. Somehow, losing half of our population actually fixed everything. I guess Thanos was right. From there, I picked up 2 more colonists fairly quickly. One was a child that wasn't too impressive, but hey, she can still clean the floors. And I also recruited Rabbit, who I think is pretty cool. Soon enough, it was winter again. And for the first time, this would be a winter where food wasn't a problem. I had a fully stocked fridge, and our chicken farm was thriving. Meanwhile, we were actually making big strides in our research. We were getting close to beating the game, which involves building a ship and launching into space. However, doing that requires a lot of materials, including a very rare item called a Persona Core. Now I could actually get the location of one, but I needed to pay 1500 silver, and I needed at least 40 goodwill with the Telonia Covenant. Now getting the goodwill is actually the hard part. I basically had to wait for them to give me a quest. In the meantime, I focused on getting all the other materials for the ship. Plasteel, advanced components, gold, and uranium, all of which I could get by trading. Dogtown meanwhile was doing really well. We had so much food that we couldn't fit it all in the fridge, and the construction of the ship was coming along smoothly. The dogs were easily taken care of any threats. We were getting new people. Welcome to Dogtown, butts. And we completed all the research for the ship. Everything was looking up. Eventually, I get a quest, and this was it, my opportunity to earn some goodwill. All I needed to do was to deliver 17 EMP shells, so I got to work immediately. I was gonna Amazon Prime that shit straight to them. However, EMP shells certainly weren't cheap. Each one took 2 components and 15 steel to make. I was literally tearing out the walls of my house just to be able to make them. I did get lucky though, and I got raided by some mechanoids, who happened to be made of precious steel. And the final shell is done. I send out a caravan to deliver the shells, but right after they leave, we get raided. And this was another rough one. Why is it always the guys with the green hats beating the crap out of us? The shells finally reached their destination. It took me 5 days, not quite Amazon Prime level, but the customer is happy nonetheless. While I'm here, I go ahead and buy some uranium for the ship. And now that we have enough goodwill, we can learn the location of the Persona Core. Not too far away. I send out a huge caravan of dogs, and I gotta admit, this is a bit risky. I'm basically gonna leave Dogtown defenseless for a few days, but it will all be worth it if we can get the Persona Core. We arrive at the location, and Operation Dogstorm was now underway. There were only a few enemies and a handful of turrets. This should have been an easy job for the dogs, and it would have been, if not for the fact that turrets explode. Well, that was horrific. At least I have the Persona Core. Oh no, I left with so many dogs. Look how many are returning. Operation Dogstorm was brutal. I installed a Persona Core, and with one more advanced component. The ship is done, but it's not over yet. We still need to power up the ship, which is gonna take 15 days, and as it charges up, we're gonna get raided into oblivion. Obviously, I didn't feel ready after losing so many dogs, so I took some time to prepare. I put up walls everywhere, and laid down spike traps. Unfortunately, I lost one of my colonists in a vicious rabbit attack. That was a bit embarrassing. If I can't defend against rabbits, how was I supposed to defend against 15 days of raids? I also noticed we were kinda running low on food as winter was taking shape, and I gotta admit, I was getting impatient. I kept pushing back the launch date because things kept going wrong. Eventually I thought, screw it. I'm ready now. What's the worst that could happen? Oh no. Half of my colony just got malaria. Okay, here comes the first raid. They try to break down our walls, but they probably should be more focused on the dogs bearing down on them. It's a bit of a fiery mess, but it's an easy victory for us nonetheless. They did actually manage to break through the walls. So I have these sleeping mechanoids here, and if I'm smart about this, I think I could use these guys to my advantage. Luckily for me, the next raid comes in and they spawn right next to the mechanoids. Okay, I didn't think the game was gonna make it that easy for me. So I launched a mortar to give the mechanoids a wake-up call. And now the mechanoids are the raiders' problem. We can just sit back and watch the action unfold. Alright, the raiders won, but they are in terrible shape. Should be an easy cleanup job for the dogs. Our next battle is with a few mechanoids, and so far these threats have been fairly easy. But you know what wasn't easy? Our battle against starvation. That's right, for the 20th time, Dogtown was running out of food, and I was forced to sacrifice some of the chickens to feed the dogs. Also, one of my colonists died to malaria, and one of the dogs immediately ate her head off. She's only been dead for a few seconds, chill out! Oh crap. Okay, more raids. I can handle more raids. Well, the dogs are hungry for more chicken. Our dreams of a chicken farm are dead. Ah, it never ends! Oh no. Why even bother destroying my walls if you're just gonna use your front entrance? You know what, this doesn't even faze me anymore. It's not like I could feed them anyways. You either die in battle or die of malnutrition. That's pretty much the motto of Dogtown. Oh look, another raid. And another one. Wait, they're pretty close to each other. This could be good. Yes, destroy each other! Alright, very good. One group has taken out the other. What the? He just walked right into them! But, why? Wow, Dogtown is just covered in blood. Four more days. We only need to last 4 more days. Crap. We gotta do what we gotta do. Oh man, the colonists are not happy. Oh no. Oh no. Well, this is bad. I am running low on dogs. I have 27 left and half of them are injured. We are at our breaking point. I don't know how many more raids we can survive. I do have a bit of good news. We still have Sharky. He's our last husky. And he's also one of our original dogs. Somehow, he's managed to survive through all the battles and all the famines. If he can make it to the end, I'd be really happy. We just need to survive 2 more days. So our food problem is certainly dealt with. Here comes a raid. And another one. So many Dogtown haters. Yes! They're gonna fight each other. You know, I've honestly been really lucky with these raids. Okay, one side just completely decimated the other. So it looks like we're still gonna have a fight on our hands. Come on boys, we can do it. We're so close. We have so few dogs. This is basically just a gunfight. Sharky almost died there, but he's gonna be okay. We're getting close. And it's done. The ship is all powered up. Now we only have one cryosleep casket, which means the ship can only carry one person. And I think we all know who deserves it most. The one who's been here since the beginning. That's right, I'm talking about Sharky. And he's in. Let's send that dog to space. So there you have it. Dogtown was a success. through all the hardships and all the famines, we did it. Funny that the game counts Sharky as a colonist. Well, that's it for the video, thanks for watching.